Hello, hello, hello. My name is Bunny Galore, the queen of the cult movies, and I just saw that for the first time as well. Did you enjoy it?
Yes!
I absolutely loved it. For a fangirl of the 80s, I was in heaven! I had an amazing time. Well, now these two gentlemen are legends in their own right, so please welcome to the stage David, I hope I say this right, Giancola, I hope I say that right, and Mr. John James, welcome to the stage. Microphone's there for you. That's one for you. Thank you for you, David. Can I say that right, David?
Giancola.
Giancola.
I know. It was very good.
Oh, this is all funny downstairs. Well, welcome. Well, to start with, that's the first time I've seen the movie. I would presume you've seen it a few times.
Yes.
So,
more than you want to, but seeing it with an audience is always a lot of fun. Thank you all so much. It's so great
Thank
to
you
see
very
you.
much.
No
I loved it. It was great. So, obviously, my first question would be like, how did you work together? Where did you first meet?
Well, we've been friends for about 20 years.
20 years this year, actually next year.
Yeah.
I moved from Los Angeles to New York. My agent called me and said, guess what? I have a job for you. You can drive your pickup truck to Vermont and do a film. And that was the first picture I made with David called Icebreaker with Sean Astin, Stacy Keach,
And Bruce Campbell.
And we ended up making, I don't know, 4 or 5 films after that, and then we started producing. That's where we started.
That's true.
And so how many, this is the first one you produced together?
Third.
The third, okay. What were the other two?
We did, so we made a movie called Legal Aliens, which was Anna Nicole Smith's last movie before she passed away, and China's last movie before she passed away.
And then, can I just jump in?
Which was a bomb, let's be honest. And then
Well,
you tell the rest.
The easiest way for us to tell this story is to rent the documentary that we made called Addicted to Fame. I think it's available still on iTunes.
It's available on all platforms. It's about how we made such a stinking bomb called Legal Aliens, which it's still a funny movie.
And literally, I mean, it's our story. David said to me, John, let's get your feet wet producing, and we'll make this film with Anna and the rest for China. And we're going to make a cult picture, and no one will know you're in it. And if you watch the documentary, he says that in the documentary, and he smash guts to me on CNN Live with Larry King talking about the movie. The movie went to 69 on IMDb, if you're aware of what that is, Illegal Aliens, because of Anna's profile. And I'll just tell you one quick anecdote about that. I was talking to Warner Home Video. David was actually screening Illegal Aliens at MGM for the brass. And I'm having nightmares thinking, this is the craziest film in the world. What are we doing here? And the day I was going to close the deal at Warner Brothers, her son dies in the hospital while she gave birth 24 hours prior to that. My press agent says, don't do anything. We can't do anything for 6 months. 6 months goes by. And I said, okay, what do we do? He said, find a small theater. See, people can laugh at this picture now. I said, okay, fine. So I found a small little theater upstate New York. I called them, and they said, yes. I called the local newspaper and said, free tickets, Anna's movie this Saturday night. He said, fine. Well, he happened to be a UP press, part of the UP press, and it went national and worldwide. And the day the article comes out, Thursday, Anna Nicole Smith is screening this Saturday. She died that day. And that's the story. So if you happen to see Addicted to Fame, I'll tell you
And
the
I'd like to
story
stop
of
talking
our
about
directing.
Legal Aliens and Addicted to Fame,
Yes.
because all of the lead cast in that movie had died of drug overdoses, including Joni China-Lauer, the wrestler. So that was a tough experience. And so, but to transition into, not to be a downer, I had directed a dramatic movie for about 7 years until I made this, because I stepped away for a while.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
but I dragged him into it once again 7 years later. So.
That's, well, I don't know about you, but I'll be Googling Illegal Aliens later on.
Yes.
Renting that on iTunes, I can tell you.
And actually, we're giving away Illegal Aliens in your DVD pack, because we're sitting on pallets of DVDs.
Pallets. We Well, you had me at Anna Nicole Smith, that's all I can say. That's as if you need to say anything. But that's very sad that it happened around that time. Obviously, it was a very, very sad passing. So, so third time lucky, yeah. Okay. So, from script to screen, how long does the process take for you guys? Did you find the project?
It was an idea John and I had about teleportation, which we talked about, I think, in 2015. And then we developed it into a screenplay, brought in a writer, and then rewrote it. And as very common with my movies, I tend to envision a much larger canvas than my budget can afford to produce. So
I think it was spectacular. I have to say, it looks. I've seen a lot of not big movie studio movies,
right.
and I don't expect that standard in a non-studio movie. So well done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We work very hard. We've been doing it for a while. We work very hard to make entertaining movies and movies with high production values, so they can reach their audience, and that's kind of the key for us. And we like to work with the best people possible.
Well, you asked how long it took, because I was the producer side of it, and I would either say, David, please, it's 4 a.m., enough. Or, if you notice, we shot 4 seasons. So we'd have to wait for winter. And then we wait because we couldn't go to a location where there's snow. So we'd have to wait for the snow to fly, for the kids to be up on the ski mountain in the gondola. And then we had the summer scene of them in the little van. So it was just this long arc, and David, please finish the movie.
It's not done, John.
Well, that's the joy of teleportation, isn't it? That you can go through so many locations, the desert, the snowy peak, but if you haven't got the budget to fly around the world to do that.
Right, but as a dramatic conceit, as a way of speeding up your story, making your story more kinetic, that was what really initially attracted me was, I don't have to wait to get from one place to another, I can be there.
Yeah, that's great.
That was really what interested me.
Well, luckily we had friends too, shooting B-roll out in the desert.
I have friends in Arizona, I have friends in Chile, and we enlisted them as well.
That's very clever. It looks very expensive and it looks very fun. Now, I would like to talk, I wasn't expecting to be that funny. Was that sort of, as in, I thought it was going to be a lot straighter movie, probably because the trailer kind of comes across a lot straighter.
Yeah, I'm actually headed to Cannes after this to talk with our distributor, and our distributor wanted us to cut a trailer that was more of an action trailer.
Sure.
And it's tough when your distributor is the person who is, all about bringing your budget money back.
Yeah.
So you do what they say, but I think we're probably going to be cutting another trailer, because I never felt the current trailer, which is very kinetic and very fast, really gives you that fun spirit of the movie, that kind of Back to the Future vibe. And, that there is that undertone of comedy and lightness.
I think it gives you the flavour of the movie. I think it would get people through the doors. It would work. I don't know if anyone's seen. Who's seen the trailer? Hands up. Did anyone see the trailer yet? Okay, so I think that gets people through the doors, and they're not going to get disappointed if they're laughing. I think it's a bit nice surprise.
Right.
So, process-wise, from script to screen, how long did it take?
We were development on the script right through till the end of 2016. We shot the end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017. And there were a lot of digital effects, and there was a lot of second unit locations, and as John mentioned, we'd shut down and come back. So we were shooting end of 2016 right up until, I believe it was January 2018, where we were shooting backgrounds and other elements. Because the post-production process took a long time, and the second unit stuff took a long time. So it's 26, so 2 years. Yeah.
Amazing. So what I'm going to do, Dennis, I think what we'll do with your DVD box set, you might need to buy a box and make it a box set, but still, they're
here, right?
That's right. Do we have? And I have glamorous assistants because I'm very old and I can't get up and down on stage. What I was going to say is when we go to the Q&A, if you ask a question, a really good question, then you'll get the DVDs. It's like bribery. Not yet, hold on. I've got one more question. So let's talk about casting. Because obviously the delicious genius, when Louis told me about this movie and sent me the trailer, I was like, oh my goodness, it's Max Caulfield, John James, Sam J. Jones, and Sean Young. I was like, I'm literally in heaven. This is amazing. Did you just come to that conclusion?
There was a surreal moment during shooting in it was 2016 at Halloween, so it was October of 2016, where everybody was up in Vermont filming the movie, Sean, Sam, Max, John, and they had nothing to do, and it was Halloween in Vermont, and I happened to live on a very busy street for trick-or-treaters for Halloween, so I invited everybody over for a party, so kids would show up, and Flash Gordon, with their parents, and Flash Gordon would be handing out candy, and Jeff Cole would be handing out candy, and Rachel from Blade Runner was handing out candy, and I literally had friends who were at my house hiding in our laundry room because they were too freaked out that, Blade Runner and, Flash Gordon and Dynasty were in there, and the parents of the kids didn't know you guys, hate to say it, sorry. But the parents were freaking out. So there was a lot of really great
What we set out is we wanted to make, as hopefully it came across, we wanted to make a movie that was sort of a throwback to a period during the 80s where it was just a fun movie. It moved and everything. And then we thought, well, why don't we get some of the best actors or names from the 80s? Kate is my daughter.
Yes, that was my next question.
And David, actually, here's what's funny. David has been auditioning her since she was 13. Literally, and also, just so you know, he auditioned her. She actually was auditioning for a Lifetime movie in the States. And she said, Dad, can I go to David's studio and have David do my audition? And David worked with it. I said, David, aren't you going a little overboard here? This is like 3 hours. I said, it's a self-tape audition, David, for gosh sake.
It was a terrible Lifetime movie, too.
Anyway, he was testing her essentially for Kate. So I don't know if you know of a series called SWAT. It's on in the States and maybe here in the UK, but she's now a regular on the series SWAT. So she's going places. Dad's very proud.
Is that David Boreanaz? Is that his show?
No, that's CLT.
Oh,
CLT. But it's
It's a CBS. It's over here.
You'll see it soon. It's on its 3rd season.
And Ryan, let me tell you, just to tell you about David. We think, and I hope you liked, Ryan WESEN, who played Dane.
The lead, yeah.
David has got an eye for talent. He gave Jesse Eisenberg his first job and fought for him. Chris Evans, Kate Bosworth, who else?
Let's see, Chris, Paul Dano, Josh Peck, and Josh out here, and we just there's an old saying at Edgewood Studios: if you're working for your career's either on the way up or on the way down. We don't get you up here.
So we're alive.
But we do get
I'm kind of in the middle, kind of just tailing off towards the cliff.
you. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that. The pure genius. Can I just, for anyone? I'm a huge Dynasty fan. Old school. I love the new show as well, but particularly old school.
Don't mention the new show in front of John.
No, well, yeah, I have rows with my friends going, it's great fun, but it's like that's comparing, like, I don't know, Desperate Housewives to The Crown. The old Dynasty being The Crown, it was classy and it was epic, and it's just cheap. Anyway, I'm moving on.
Now John loves you.
And I'm a great fan of cheap. But, can we just, anyone who loved Dynasty, did we just see Jeff Colby kill Miles Colby?
Yes, you did.
I really wanted the Dynasty title music to kick in at that point.
It took me 30 years.
It's really funny when we were shooting Max's and John's scenes together. They're friends in real life, but when you put those two actors in a scene together, it's like a showdown. That Max wants to one-up John, John wants to one-up Max, and one more take. No, I don't think he did that right.
It's truly came in.
A couple of divas.
Oh wow, the testosterone, I'm just getting quite excited. Thinking about that, just give me a moment. I love that, I absolutely adore that. Had you worked with Max before?
No, I hadn't worked with Max before, and it's funny, is Max Australian or is he from
English?
He's English. What's amazing for Max is, Max is doing a States, a US accent, but if you talk to Max about it, he wasn't just doing, he's so good at doing accents, he wasn't just doing a US accent, he told me like it's a Tennessee, Alabama accent,
wow.
Southern, this part here, what do you think, David? And I'm like, you sound like they're from there to me, man. He's really good at that.
I'd actually forgotten he was from England originally,
Yeah.
and I don't know how long he'd stayed in the States, because you just always think of him, and Emma Psalms, you just think of them being kind of American, so it's kind
Right, and if you're talking to him, it's kind of, because especially if you've been directing him, and then you just talk to his own voice, you're like,
Yeah. That's amazing stuff. Well, I think now, shall we open up to some question and answers? Oh, yeah, we have a microphone in the audience. Look at this!
We have DVDs. We have DVDs.
Here's the DVDs. Oh, fantastic. You're an angel. Thank you, darling.
Hello. Thank you so much. That really was great fun.
Thank you.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Krista. Krista Devol. And my question is, Sam Jones, the character, when you wrote it, well, you've answered it a little bit so far. Did you write it for him? And how did it change once you chose him? Obviously, you wrote it prior to casting him.
So it's that thing in casting that directors talk about. When you cast an actor in a role, they take over that role, and you're just on that horse along for that ride. And I can't name names, we went through a lot of character actors, horror actors even, looking for something. We weren't necessarily looking for that thread of humor in the role, that thread of this person's so crazy you don't know what he's going to do next. And Sam just took it in a certain direction that it was funny. And we knew that was working, and we wanted it. But, and this is, Sam knows, I'll tell the story, it's not Tales Out of School. I pulled Sam aside and I said, has anybody seen the movie, the Coen Brothers movie, No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Right, so Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem, this crazy character, but just, really scared. And I went to Sam and I said, it's Javier Bardem, No Country for Old Men. He said, yeah, brother, yeah. I can do it, Sam, now. I get it, brother, I get it. Do a first scene. He does what you just saw. I walk up to him and it was good, I loved it. And I said, you've seen the movie, No Country for Old Men, right? Yeah, brother, yeah. I got on that horse and I rode it right to the end.
One of the funniest moments when we were making the picture, the fellow who plays the Valmart manager, David Johnson, another lucky character that we got, another actor,
Brilliant,
genius,
who did a national tour of producers as lead character.
As Bielsa.
Max Bielsa.
Right.
Max Bielsa.
So he shows up, and the man is brilliant. He's so funny. So David said, okay, when Brink shows up with the crossbow, he lets David and Sam Jones essentially improv for 10 minutes. And the cast, most of the cast was there, and all of the crew and all of us, we had to cut because we were laughing.
I directed that scene like this.
I mean, literally.
It's on the DVD.
And
There
it's
will be a
just,
DVD deleted scene,
Yes, there will be.
an extended cut of that scene.
just brilliant.
Yeah.
And David is such a talented, he's going places. He just got on a sitcom, big sitcom, in the States, so we were very pleased to get him.
He's a great timing.
Oh,
great
oh.
face, great timing.
Wonderful.
Gold, find that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, well, and you got your DVDs then, okay? So you get a prize. Okay, and is it magical? Come back over there in a second. Let's come to this gentleman here. Oh, sorry, microphone's winging its way over to you. Oh, sorry, sir. I'm very free and easy. You can go to them.
Hi there. Thank you for coming to London, making the trip over. I've had the pleasure of meeting Sean Young several times, and almost every time I've met her, she's always been quirky and airy. I was wondering, what was it like working with her on the film set? Because she's had a reputation before for being difficult. I was wondering if you thought that was true, or if she was a pleasure to work on.
She's quirky and airy. Yeah, that's a good. No, I mean, the thing with any actor, and Sean was really big in the '80s. If you look at No Way Out and Stripes, and I can't even remember
Blade
Runner, and she's worked with Ridley Scott, really big directors, and with Sean, it was a matter of getting her to trust me. That was the toughest part. Was Sean understanding that you're on my set and I protect you creatively, personally, and in all ways. And once you did that, that's the most important thing. As a director, you're in charge, but I protect you in your vision, and let's work together creatively. Once you can do that, you can do your best work. And I think for Sean, it was doing that. And I really didn't experience any of what they talk about. I know there's stories about Batman and all these other things. I've heard all the stories. I didn't experience that.
Well, I also stepped in too because I happened to have the opportunity of working for Aaron Spelling, who was an old school producer. They used to call him ABC, Aaron's Broadcasting Company, because the man was the Louis B. Mayer of television in the States, as you know. But Aaron had a way of treating actors, and that's with respect. And I never forgot that. And after leaving Dynasty, I I thought, my goodness, is this what it's like for poor actors out here? So when Sean came on board, it was my mission to make her feel comfortable, to make her feel part of the team, not to try and exploit her, and to treat her with respect.
And not to circle back around, but we both
That's
know
very
Will
important.
Smith, so we can deal with just about anything.
No, and that's important, I think, today, that actors, today it's hurry up, shoot, get in your honey wagon, get in your dressing room, hurry up, you're supposed to be blah, blah, blah. And there's no humanity, it seems. It's just make the picture, get out, and go. So she was very relieved, and suddenly, after her first day, she ended up sitting in the hot
It
tub
took
on
about
her
one
last
day and
shot.
she got in the groove.
And didn't want to go home. Yeah, so she's a good friend now because of this.
That's lovely, because I think it's an interesting question, good question. Do you do DVDs?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Honey wagon here. Not everybody is a natural spirit to the process of making TV or film, because it's very disjointed. It's very alienating, I think. So if you're an artist that maybe is a bit sort of skittish and nervous about things, we've read all those stories from Marilyn Monroe to everybody you can think of since that find that process hard. I think that's where. So you can just talk to somebody like a human being.
Right.
I think that makes everything fine.
And I think that, if any of your filmmakers up and coming, that's not something I was born with or I had as a first time. It's something I've learned over decades of directing, how to control that. And that's something you learn in the craft of directing, how to make people comfortable.
Okay, I would like to go to this. Oh, and you're there. That's seamless. Well done. What's your name?
Thank you, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Great film. I really loved it. It's the sort of film you could take anybody to see. Really enjoyable. I was expecting it to be a little bit more, like a lot of more bloody action, but it's not. It's a proper film, family film that you could probably take anybody to. I just want to know.
And that was intentional, by the way.
And that can go on the poster. That's a good quote.
Which is great. I just wanted to ask. It looks great, and I just want to ask how much the budget was, and how much did you cut out? Was there a lot of deleted stuff that you didn't put in? That sort of thing, because it was just nice and tight the way I like films that don't drag out too much, keep you entertained. I was just that was pretty much.
Well, that's why I get involved at the script stage, so you can cut out stuff before you spend money on it. But in editing, I'm a very, as they say, kill your darlings kind of director. I will dig into a scene and look at every take and cut it down line for line until it is the way I want it, and that's what we do. In terms of the budget, it was more than we can afford and not enough.
And I kept saying to David, please finish the movie. Please. He said, John, we're not a studio where we can have 75 engineers sitting on a computer doing computer graphics, CG. We have 2 young kids out of film school working. What's the program?
Well, if you don't know, why are you referencing it?
The program I use.
We worked in Adobe.
Working
I don't want to know, it's
And these
boring.
kids were working 6
But
days a week.
we guys worked for a year and a
10
half.
hours a day.
Yeah.
For days.
That's fantastic.
Days, just 2 of them.
Which
There's a lot
bored
of
John
CG.
to death.
I'm not coming in. Tell me when it's done. By the way, I did want to mention, if we did.
Make sure we give this man his DVD.
Yes.
Yes.
If you did happen to notice our score, it was all composed by a fellow by the name of David Stahl, who we happened to fall into. A lot of like the Frank and Sean, this young composer who was an intern to John Williams.
He actually worked with John Williams. He was intern to Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
No film composers at all. And this was his first feature.
Yeah, his first one.
Yeah, great find.
We met
Yeah,
with
that
him
was my new find.
That was great.
in Toluca Lake, and David actually said, here's the scene, I'd like you to score it. So he had a couple of composers, 10, 15 composers send back their vision of that scene. And all of a sudden we hear this, ding, and this young man, David Stahl, so this is his first feature.
And great score, great score. Now, we only have time for one more question, but John's actually...
We'll still give DVDs to anybody who just reads it. We've got how many more do we have?
6 more.
6 more.
You're not
So
leaving
the first 6 hands go up, get DVD packs. Leandra, it's up to you.
Leandra, here we are along the front.
Well, no, there's some back there.
Oh, that's right.
What I wanted to ask, because John's told me some people here...
Or split them up.
Came up from Newcastle.
Keep your hands up, she'll find you.
Newcastle's right here.
Yes, oh, you're right here, fantastic. So do you have a question?
Yes.
Do you mind, right, so because they've come all the way from Newcastle here. I really, I mean, we'll get to time chase as well, do it really quickly. But I would like to hear, to where the microphone's gone so much, just to shout.
Sorry, you who? I don't want to make this decision.
Right here.
There you go.
There you
It's a
go.
very long journey, you understand.
How far away did it, I think they came, how far away did you come from?
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Newcastle, how far is that?
About 3 hours.
About 3 hours. Anybody come further than 3 hours?
New York City.
You got some. Where did you come from?
Thank you so much for coming.
Dallas, give him the
Dallas needs to be.
Rival TV show, sorry.
Put him up. Don't give him moving on.
What's your
Moving
question?
on.
Hi, I just wondered if there's any improvising in the movie, or if you stuck strict to the script.
You know, we didn't really kind of just go improvising like you would on these movies. Generally, what we do is in rehearsal. As I've grown as a director, my mission was, and my edict for all of the cast was, and I like giving out a paper script, not just an email script. I expected all the actors to bring their script, because I was one of the screenwriters, full of notes. I want your script covered in notes, so we can talk about it in blocking and rehearsal. So there was a lot of changes to the script, but we would make those while they're lighting the scene. So there wasn't a lot of improvisation, even though it may look like it. There was a lot of workshopping the scenes instead of just sitting around. People talk about sitting around in movies. You don't do that in my movies. What you do is...
You don't have time.
Yeah, in any movie you don't have time, so you work it out. Well, you block the scene, and then when they're lighting the scene, you sit in the trailer or wherever, and you work out the problem.
When you're on a very tight budget and a very tight schedule, you don't improv. You know your lines, you hit your marks, and you move on.
Great question. I think that's all we have time for. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We have run out of time. But please give a big round of applause for Dane. Thank you very much.
Leandra still has DVDs, so you're very nice to Leandra.
And if you want a poster or something.
We'll be out there if you want a poster. Everybody, we have plenty of posters for everybody. 2 posters for everyone. Thank you so much.